I am cutting up some apples. We are going to cook this down. To make this quicker, you can use apple pie filling, or you can just use some strawberry jam or preserves or anything of that nature. So I'm just going to cut these up into small pieces because I love cooked apples no matter what. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want them to be very, very small because you're going to be filling the biscuits with them. And so you don't want a lot of chunks. They're going to cook down really quick and really easy. Now, the biscuits I am using today are actually leftover canned biscuits, and I froze them uncooked. And if you want to know how to do that, I know a lot of people say, you got leftover biscuits? Yes, because I typically only cook 4 or 5 at a time, because if I cook them, we'll eat them. So to avoid that, I just go ahead and cook less. So if you want to know how to freeze them, take a look at this.
You ever open up a can of biscuits, but you really only need 2 or 3? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. Grab a baking tray and some wax paper. Put your wax paper right down on your baking tray. Open up your biscuits. Take them out and put them on your tray. Make sure they aren't touching and freeze them. Once your biscuits are frozen solid, you can now put them in a Ziploc or airtight container. Zip them up nice and tight, removing the air. And when you get ready to use them, just thaw on the counter first. And there you have it.
Okay, I have just a little bit of water in this pot, and I am going to add these apple chunks in here. You don't need a ton of water. I have probably maybe about a half a cup of water in there. Okay, to that, I'm going to squeeze in a little orange juice. It's going to help preserve the color as well as add a little flavor in there. I'm going to add a little sugar. Now, I'm using organic cane sugar. You can use honey or maple syrup, anything like that. And I'm putting in some cinnamon. Okay, we're going to give this a mix, bring it up to a boil, and let these apples cook down until they become nice and soft. Okay, our apples are done. Now you want to go ahead and let them cool. And if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my kitchen. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you won't miss anything. We're getting ready to make an egg wash. I have 1 egg, and to it I'm going to put about a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back yet once again. And to my channel members, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Okay, we're going to get this mixed up and combined and move on to the next step. Okay, once you get your egg wash made, go ahead and set that to the side. Grab another, maybe a shallow dish. To your shallow dish, add some sugar. You can add as much or as little as you like. And I will leave all the ingredients and exact measurements down in the description for you guys as well. To the sugar, I'm adding cinnamon. Yes, just a little cinnamon sugar. We're gonna need this for the tops of our biscuits. Okay, go ahead and make sure that that is well combined. Okay, these are my biscuits, my leftover biscuits that we froze. And I'm gonna just take a regular baking tray. We're going to put them on there. Now, one thing about when you freeze biscuits, it just depends on the biscuits, how long they've been frozen. It may even have something to do with the brand. I'm not sure. But sometimes, not always, but sometimes, they don't rise as well as biscuits that are fresh out of the can that you just popped. They'll rise, but sometimes it's just not as much. So we don't know what we'll get. But that's okay with me because they rise enough. So I'm good with that. So you have 4 biscuits here. Continue to let your If you make apples, continue to let them cool. Okay, if you have not preheated your oven, go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, you're going to need something. You can use the top of something. You can use anything. We're going to be pressing down in the center, in the very center of the biscuits, but we don't want to poke a complete hole through it like a donut. You need to have the bottom part of the biscuit still there in order to hold your filling. Okay, and if you're having trouble seeing the whole screen, there should be a little bitty dotted like square in the lower right hand corner of your screen, whatever device you're using. If you would tap that, it will give you a full screen over your complete device so that you can see everything I'm doing. I'm just going to use this and press it down right in the center of each biscuit. Just like that. You're making a well, but you don't want to poke it completely through. So you want to have a well in the center like that. You can make it a little bigger if you want, just by going around the edges of it. Just like that. Do each one, however many biscuits you have, do each one just like that. Making sure you do not poke it all the way through. Otherwise, your filling is going to run through. Okay, this is what they should look like with the indents in them. From here, we're going to brush them with our egg wash first. Just brush them all over with the egg wash. I even like to brush inside the hole because that keeps them from getting very soggy in there. Now we're going to take them, and I like to kind of take a spoon and sprinkle my cinnamon sugar over them as opposed to dipping them in there, because I can kind of control the amount that I'm putting on there. Just like that. Do each one like that, and you can simply just dip it in there if you want. But again, I like to kind of just sprinkle mine on there. Okay, your apples should have cooled and the syrup should have thickened a little bit. You don't want to put too much syrup in there because you don't want them to be watery. Okay, but just go ahead and fill up your hole. I like to pile it up just a little bit high. We're going to bake these in a 375 degree oven until they're nice and golden brown. Now, you may need to check your oven depending on how well your oven cooks at maybe about the 15-minute mark. If you find that they are browning a little bit too fast and you don't feel that they've cooked, just take a piece of foil and just lay it over the top of them gently so they'll stop browning but continue to cook. Okay, this is what we look like going into the oven, and we'll be back. Ooh, they are out of the oven. Don't they look good? And they smell even better. Oh my goodness. Now I'm gonna bring you all up close because we're gonna dust them with some powdered sugar. Our apple cinnamon, I don't even know what to call these things. They are just amazingly delicious. You wanna let them cool a little bit first before you put your powdered sugar on it. Otherwise, the powdered sugar is just going to melt. Look guys, don't they look amazing? Oh my goodness. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you won't miss anything. I'm gonna grab a fork and knife so we can do our taste test. They're so nice and they're fluffy and they're crispy and they roast pretty good, so I'm not mad at it, okay? I would pick this up and break it, but the filling probably will fall off. But you know what? Let me show you all the bottom because the filling is on the top. See that? And look at the bottom. Nice and golden brown. Ooh, okay. Let me cut me off a little piece here so we can get our taste test done. Oh, the apples and the cinnamon. And you can use pie filling in this, like apple pie filling. You don't have to cut the apples up and do all that. Honestly, I was going to do a peach one this morning, like a peach cobbler, but unfortunately, Someone ate all the rest of my peach preserves and put the empty jar in the refrigerator. We're not calling any names, husband. Let's have a taste test. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. The apples and the cinnamon sugar, you can taste just a hint of the orange. You can taste the cinnamon and the butter and the apples. This is amazingly delicious. It's time for me to go eat. And I will see you all next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.